Alright guys, so in the past videos, one of the things that we did was we went in and we basically got all of this stuff finished up in Maya. So our model's good to go. Life is good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're actually going to take this model and we're going to add some color to it. It's one thing to get it all modeled out. It looks pretty good, pretty happy with it, but it desperately needs some color and some texture and some pizzazz. Alright, so what we're going to do is right up in this area, you're going to see we have a little blue circle. This little blue circle, what it does is it pulls up our hypershade window. Now be very careful when you're moving this thing around because you see that little blue thing right there? It's going to try and pop it into your workspace right there if you're not really careful with where you have it in your picture. Alright, and the worst thing is you get it popped in there you start killing out some of these windows. See these little X's? Like there's one there's one there, one there. Those are really hard to get back, so leave this pretty much the way that it is. Alright, so now I'm going to start off with and just kind of describe the basic process of how to create a shader for you. First of all, what you want to do is you want to create a different, any of these different kinds of materials. The ones that we normally work with is anisotropic. We work with Blinn, we work with Lambert, and we work with Phong and Phong-E. The rest of these all have applications, and there's like a gazillion long list in here, but really the ones that we're going to work with to start off with are going to be those. So one more time, anisotropic, Blinn, Lambert, Phong, and Phong-E. So let me kind of describe the difference for you. Anisotropic gives you kind of a lined texture. For example, if I was looking at stainless steel, you can see the lines that have been sanded into that metal. Okay? Captain America's shield had lines sanded into it. A Blinn, well, by the way, it's shiny. A Blinn kind of looks like a plastic shine. So plastic has a little bit of shine, but not an incredible shine. Lambert has no shine at all. You'll notice we already have Lambert number 1. Never change Lambert number 1 because Lambert number 1 has already been applied to our regular model. So as soon as you mess with this, it messes with every single brand new model made in the program. Just don't do it. From there we have Phong, which is super shiny, and we have Phong-E, which is super shiny, but the shine is kind of spread out. Generally the ones that I work with are Blinn, Lambert, and Phong. And we'll get into a completely different style of creating textures and stuff later on, but for now these are the ones we're going to work with. So I'm going to create let's go ahead and create a Phong because it's super shiny. And you'll see as soon as I create a Phong, it's been created here. It's been created here with all the different channels and the different nodes that are in here. And it's been built out over here and what it would look like on what we call our shader bowl. Now you can actually change this shader bowl to look like different things. So what would it look like if it was on a piece of cloth or if it was on a teapot or so on and so forth. I'm just going to keep it on shader bowl for now. You can actually go into this area and you can scroll around it just like you can in our window using the Alt key and the different mouse buttons. And then the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to come in and basically start manipulating these objects. Now notice where it says color here, it says color there. And transparency is over here. You can see transparency there. So a lot of these attributes are here in this node area as well. Okay? Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click right here where this little gray area is. Then this will let me choose a color. Now this is a standard color picker like you'd find in Photoshop or many other programs. So if I chose red, for example, you can see that my shader ball is automatically updated. It's a shiny material, so that's why it looks like it does. If we were to change it to something else, it would not be shiny like this. And when I just clicked on that little red spot again, see when you drag away it goes away. I'll click on it. We can change it. We can make it lighter, or we can change it the different colors. I'm going to leave it on red, or we can make it darker. Well, I think that darker actually looks pretty cool. Alright, so now I've got this dark maroon kind of color. I drag away from it. You can see that it instantly updates it over here. So I'm going to drag this out. And what I'm going to do is here in the background, I think that guy right there needs to be in this shiny red. So with it selected, I'm going to come down here, right click, and I'm going to go to Assign Material to Selection. So that's one way of assigning the material. Another way of assigning it, I can click with my middle mouse button, and then I'm holding it and I'm dragging it up here, and I can drag it onto objects. So I can drag and drop it onto things. Or we can come in, we can grab a whole group of these, and then I can assign material to selection. So now I've got a pretty good chunk of objects in there with color on them. Okay, so this is a simple color. It's got nothing complex, nothing crazy going on, and so it's pretty straightforward. All right, let's go ahead and create another shader. I'm going to create another Phong, and I'm going to go ahead and let's just apply like a black color to it. Okay. Kind of going for the red and black temple right now. See, that kind of now really looks good. Kind of pops. And let's go ahead and I'm gonna grab all these little column rounds here. Whoop, not that one. I wanted that. That. Already got that one. Let's go that one, and that one. We'll scroll around and I can see if I can get that one. Right click and I'm gonna assign material to selection. So now I've got a good looking color there. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do, so you've seen simple color a couple times now. Now let's create something a little different. I'm going to create a blend, okay, just a different kind of material. And in this time, instead of coming here and going for a simple color, let's choose something else. I'm going to come down here to the end of the bar, and we're going to do what we call mapping the color. So I'm going to click on that. And as soon as I do that, this little guy right here pops up onto my screen, and I'm going to choose checkerboard from my list. So now I've got a cool checkerboard pattern on there, and I'm going to drag and drop that onto each one of the little column posts. And what is that, the column base? So I'm going to put it on the column base. I'm going to right click and add material to selection. And we could do the same thing up here. Let's just say this is the temple to my favorite kind of shoes, which I love, Vans. And Vans absolutely digs checkerboard patterns. They really, really do. All right. So we get these last two. Assign material to selection. Boom. All right. So now I'm going to create a really cool roof. Like a really, really cool roof. I want to show you a couple other things. So I'm going to come down here. Let's go to, I'm going to do a Phong E from my next one. And I'm going to map the color. And on this Phong E, when I map the color, let's see, what do we have here? We could do an ocean shader. Ocean shaders are pretty cool, but ocean shaders, what they do is they will animate over time, so I'm not really going to use that. We'll get into that kind of stuff later. Let's do a mountain shader. Now the really cool thing about this mountain shader is if you know how to do it, you can actually change the colors of the texture. So I'm going to come in, instead of this icky weird color that is, let's go with my dark red. That's kind of cool. And in here, I'm going to come in, let's get my black back in there. So I've created my own little custom shader here. And that custom shader's right there. I'm going to click and drag that right onto that. That's kind of cool looking, kind of looks like a marble. And in the last one that I'm going to make, I'm going to go in and I'm going to make another, let's just make another Phong E. And this time I'm going to put a color on there, so like this light blue color. And I'm going to drag and drop that right onto my roof. But I'm going to do something fun with the roof. And first of all, I'm going to drag this model over so I can see what I'm doing while I'm working. I'm going to come right over here to where it says transparency. And I'm going to turn transparency up. You'll notice how I can now kind of start to see through that roof. So kind of like a glass roof. Wow, that looks really cool. All right, so I'm going to let you play. This is the basic idea of how we go in and color and texture objects. I'm not going to take any of your ideas away, but I want you to go in, color and texture your object. And another thing you can do, I want you to go in and build some more geometry on here. Man, put some handrails in there, a little fountain in the middle. Maybe this is on the ground. Do some really cool stuff with our temple. It should never just look normal. You know, this is the normal temple. Make it awesome. All right, we'll see you in the next lesson.